Radio.
Hello, this is Kelly McAlpine of Kelly Six Stories, and today the topic is black men who date white women. Okay, I have a caller. Hello, caller. How are you?
I'm well. This is Diane out of Jacksonville. Just glad to be on the show. Can't wait to hear um, what direction this goes into, and just excited to be on the show. This should be a very good and deep conversation.
Yes, it should be. Especially, there's a whole lot of different misconceptions and concerns over people who are black that date white women, or
Mm-hmm.
um, black men who date white women, or vice versa.
Yes. Mhm.
Because because we already know, like, the biggest problem, or one of the biggest problems, is that, like Chris Brown and other artists lately, like Wiz Khalifa, and even Kanye West in the past, he's been talking about, gonna leave your ass for a white girl. So, like, white women has pretty much have been looked at as a trophy, as like a symbol of status, like a symbol of
Mhm.
power. That, like, once I get to a certain level in life, that if I finally made it, then I gotta have a white girl on my arm, that type of thing. And that's the type of notion that a lot of black men, unfortunately, what they think. And, like, I was just reading an article online, and it was talking about,
Mhm.
I think it was Reggie Bush, and I think the title of it was by Fossil.com, for any of the, listeners. If they happen to read that website, I go in there sometimes, and it was talking about black men who only knock up white women. And they had Tiger Woods up
Mhm.
there. They had Kanye up there. They had Reggie Bush on there.
Mhm.
They even had Sidney Poitier up there talking about, look who comes to dinner, but never left.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I
that's a
think that,
deep issue in with our people, with our men, our brothers.
hmm and I think it's like I think it may be like a psychological thing
Mhm.
that they may not really thinking about, of how come they do what they do, or how come they make the decisions they make. And, for some people, granted, you know, love is love, and sometimes, you're going to fall in love with a person, or you're going to like a person who you have the same interests with. And then sometimes, it may not click with them, with a person of the same race.
Exactly, but
Um,
my issue with it. Okay, go ahead.
oh, no, you can go ahead.
Yeah, my issue with this whole thing is you're absolutely right. You love who you love, and you can't help who you fall in love with necessarily. But there is data that supports that quote unquote black men date outside of their race, white women in mass. The percentages are astounding. No other race of men date outside of their own race as do black men. So when you said that it's psychological, that rang a bell. And the word that comes to my mind is post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Of us
And we can
believing.
go in a whole, direction on that. But that's
Okay.
the but let me share this to you. It's kind of comical and funny. When I found out the title of your show tonight, I said, let me just look at some things. And oh my God, I mean, part of me was furious, but then I had to laugh at some of our poor, demented, and twisted black men who are on this trip. I mean, it's really crazy. And I just want to share with you some of the reasons they gave that they don't date black women. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It said that white women are more flexible, They're not as confrontational. They said that black women are too conservative in the bedroom. White women are just easier. They don't complain. They go over and above in the bedroom. They said that white women are black women are too independent. Really? Well, as last data I checked, many of us have to do for ourselves. You see all the single head of households. You have to be independent. And then too aggressive. We too outspoken. And oh my God. And we joined up with the feminist movement. I mean, really? Really? I'm like, these are some really? We joined with the feminist movement. I said, I don't know any of my friends that have joined with the feminist movement. And these are just, I just think excuses. And listen to this one. White women will loan you money and not ask why. I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. And not ask why. Girl.
You telling me not ask why, so he could be just like asking her for some cash to go get some Jordans, and she's okay with that. She's not going to even consider, it's like, whatever. You're my man. So
right, or to take some other chick out, whatever. And I'm thinking, wow, it sounds so immature. And these were grown-ass men, grown-ass men talking about, like babies, just give me what I want. It's all about what I want. Gimme. And, last time I checked, adults, do what's necessary, but children, they just want what they want without consideration of others. So, that's just some immaturity stuff right there. But I was tripping. I said, are you serious? And girl, he said black women got low credit scores and less educated. Nappy hair.
Wow. It's unbelievable, the type of things that people say. But let me tell you something else, though. You tripping off of that. Tell me why I have a friend who has a friend who dates a white woman. And he told his friend, he was like, I feel closer to you already now since you have a white girlfriend. He said, you got the job done. I was so appalled. I said, right, that's what he said. And I was so appalled, like as though he basically was saying that, hey, white women are better than black women. And I actually,
but they're the first
ones. Met this guy in person.
Girl, but they're the first ones that want to come crying and crawling back home once the police done shot them a couple of times. Okay? Once they get in trouble. And railroaded and abused by the system. Who can understand them? Who do they go back running to? Just ask OJ. But he didn't learn his lesson. But yeah, the system that will continually abuse. We have this police brutality. So you're telling me that when it's all said and done, you're going to go home, you're going to run to someone else of another ethnicity that does not understand you. See, they talk all this stuff now, but back to this, it's psychological, Kelly. It's psychological, and unfortunately, we as a people, we have just gone through so much since quote unquote slavery that it really is self-hatred on a deep level. That's the bottom line, self-hatred.
Like I don't like myself because I got this big nose. I got my dark olive skin. I don't like my nappy hair. I've been brainwashed to believe that Caesar Borgia is the epitome of what God-like is, even though in the book of Revelations it tells you that Jesus, or the person that they want to call Jesus, that he had skin that's burnt brass and woolly hair, So we don't know.
Oh, girl, don't let us get started with that religious image. Yeah.
Right.
Don't let us get started with that religious icon that has burned deeply in our psyche and makes us think that all that is good, all that is righteous, all that is holy, all that is perfect is this whiteness. When out of that everything created came out of blackness, period, or darkness, if I should say. But I don't want to keep talking and talking, but I wanted to share this one thing I heard this gentleman talk about. He said, he was appalled at the things he heard black men say about black women as if they were not a part of the equation or the problem itself. He said, we got issues, but it's a issue amongst us. It's not the women and it's not the men. We have issues and we got to solve them, and it's psychological. And he said something that kind of made sense. I'll share it. He said the reason why black men date white women is because growing up in a lot of single family homes, that they saw their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunts struggle. And in a child's mind, that struggle imprints on the mind, and they think, I don't want anything to do with struggle. So it action is, or it manifests in, I got to get away from struggle. Mama working 2 and 3 jobs trying to put food on the table, and with that struggle comes stress. But instead of understanding where that's coming from, black men are running instead of we coming together and facing the facts that we all have stresses. We all have pain and suffering in our communities. And until we address that, but to go run away and use these petty excuses, blaming the black woman, that's crazy as hell. But I thought that was interesting. But yeah, girl, all these, I guess growing up, so many of our black men associate being with black or dark with pain, suffering, and struggle. So psychologically, they're trying to escape that.
Right. I'm going to go on to the next caller, 402. Are you there? You're live.
Yes, I am. Yes,
okay.
I am.
What are your thoughts on black men that date white women? Do you think that we as black women, do you think that we have a valid point of the reasons why some of us should be angry men with white women? And do you think that the majority of the black men think that white women are better and put them up on a pedestal over their own women, and that they equate black women as equal to being in the struggle or equal to being in poverty, and that the white woman is a way out of poverty and a way out of struggle?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, we do have a reason to be upset that they want to date white women. I do think it's escaping. They want to escape from struggle and poverty, something that before, and they're socialized to believe that that's something forbidden. So if they can have that and they can allow him to do what he wants to do, they say we have a chip on our shoulder and all of that. But again, that's psychological. It's not something that I agree with the other caller and everything that she said, because it's absolutely ridiculous that they would think the way that they're thinking and giving them excuses to date white women and not their own women. So I absolutely agree.
Okay. That is trauma that we're still dealing with. Do you think that black men have it harder with that particular trauma of like self-hatred, or do you think that black women also had that same self-hatred as well? Because there was an article where some black women, they learned that there were some eligible white men for them to date. He said that the women, they were down the block. Right, the line was wrapped around the corner of the building. Do you think that's because that black men haven't been treating them good, or that and that they're looking for a way out, or saying, well, okay, if it's not working out with black men, then I should just go ahead and go with the white man, and he'll probably treat me better than the brothers.
I think that exactly. I think that the only reason black women will go outside of their race to date is because they've experienced hardships and physical abuse and mental, emotional abuse from their own black brothers. So that's why they go outside of their race. Black men choose to go outside of their race and date white women, whereas we don't choose to do that. A lot of black women just feel that they need an alternative because they can't find quality men of substance in their own race. So I think that's why they go out as a need of something as necessity to try to find something that they can't get where they already are. And that's different than black men. There's lots of great black women, but they choose to go out and get white women. So that's what I think.
Right, because
I agree.
the thing is, right. I see what you're saying, because there's a lot of black women who have good jobs and who are well educated and who are very attractive, sexy, the whole 9 yards. And they also have the same type of family values. They're either Christian religion, or the Jewish religion, or Buddhist, or of the Islamic faith. Some of them want to have kids. Some of them don't want to have any children. But all in all, they can find somebody that had the same interests and goals in life.
Absolutely.
But because of the perceived ideal that, okay, this is better, so I'm gonna go on this other side. I'm gonna go on the other side of the fence because the grass is greener on that side, and see what happens. And then it's like it's constantly being thrown in our faces because like when that song "Loyal" with Chris Brown, he was talking about he said I got a white girl with some new titties. It's just like it's crazy. You got Trey Songz. He's out there. He's taking pics with Kim Kardashian's little sister. So it seemed like it's a constant thing. It's like you're seeing it in music videos over and over again. You're hearing it in, you're hearing about it in music over and over again. You've seen it on the Cheerios commercials with the little, mulatto child with their black father and their white mother. So it's like it's a constant thing, like a brainwashing, so to speak. It's no different than what Bobby Hemming was talking about with the movie Something New. They're telling the black woman, hey, maybe you need to try something new. Go with this with the white boy. And then like the latest movie, which just came out by Zane, what was it called? Addicted. She was married to Boris Cujo, which is a beautiful black man. Okay, had 2 kids by him, but yet she was addicted to sex. And it all stems from the fact that she was raped by 3 little boys when she was somewhere about the age of, I think, 8 or 10. I think she said her character said.
Mhm.
And she cheated with a black man, and she also cheated with the white man. But the white man was the one whom she had fell in love with, and she had to try to break away from him. But in the end, she went and got herself together, and she went to counseling and stuff like that. So I think
it's a problem. I think it's but something else I want to throw in there. Until we realize that many things are thrown at us to divide us, until we realize that we don't realize the game being played on us. So we got religion that divides us. We got classism, and now we have this. We have the things, interracial things, light skin, dark skin. That divides us, good hair, bad hair, light eyes. And now we got, we're battling against our own brothers. I mean, and we know that anything divided cannot stand.
No, it can't. No.
That's true. That's true.
Because that's the last stronghold right there. Because if you can't, as the black men and black women can't see eye to eye, then the race of people will go extinct. Because you're already on shaky ground as is. And you see other people, like, other races of people, we're not saying that they don't date interracially, they do, but the thing is that for the most part, they stick together, regardless of whatever type of crap is going on, that they choose to stay together for the most part. Like Chinese men with Chinese women, Japanese men with Japanese women, etc. And they have a sense of family, a sense of tradition, a sense of wanting to keep their bloodline strong. And I kind of think that that's something that it goes amiss with black men. They don't really see the importance of what it means to have a strong bloodline. And they don't really understand what it means to have traditions, since their traditions were taken away from them, their language, their food, their culture, which is their nationality, which is their whole identity, was taken from them.
There's this individualism, me, my, I. It's not about the group, the community, the people. It's about what I want.
Exactly. It's about what I want, the selfishness, and it's not about the collective, about how it's going to affect. It's not just going to affect me as a person, but this is going to affect my whole community, because when I date the white woman, like let's say like Michael Jordan or LeBron James or somebody like that, when I do this, I'm pulling money out of the black community and I'm placing it into the white community. And then my white counterparts, they're not going to tell me or encourage me to put the money back into the black community. They're not going to say anything at all, because they figure, well, hey, you're black, and you know that you're black. You came from a black family and a black community once upon a time. That's your responsibility to do that. That's not their responsibility to do that for you. That's yours.
And the sad thing about it is when, if that black man, quote unquote, passes on first, where does all his wealth go? It's gone forever.
Yes. It is gone forever. That's the part that's unfortunate. All the wealth is gone. It stops right there in that particular generation. And I think that's maybe the reason why when you have Will Smith and his wife, Jaden, they're very successful black people that's married in the industry. They've been in, for a long time and stuff. And, they're getting attacked left and right. Every time you turn around, they always talk about, oh, they're going to get divorced, they're going to get a divorce. And then the latest thing they said about their son Jaden is that he wants to cut off his penis. Now they're attacking their son,
Now, who believes
it's
that?
like,
Who believes that?
I don't believe it. Why would you, it's like, why would you do that? This is like, I'm going to cut off my nose to spite my face. I mean, who does that? Who's going to be an idiot and going to cut off their penis, cut off their member? But you know what? That brings me to another point. That brings me back to the days where the Ku Klux Klan used to hang black men because even if it was just a thought, or if they even suspected that a black man wanted to be with a white woman, like Emmett Till, say he whistled at a white woman, and then they say, they stripped him naked, they tied him up and threw him in the bottom of the river, and that he was so messed up that his mother wanted her son to have an open casket so they could see the damage that was done, and they still had let both of those men go, even though they knew they was guilty. And when they hung black men on the tree, one of the first things they did is that they cut their dick off.
Wow.
So to me, when I see this type of thing, when I hear about them talking about Jaden like that, that's an attack against, his procreation, of him being strong and being able to procreate with another black woman. Most likely they probably, if they can't they want to emasculate them. So
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on it. And I think that these type of things is that black men, they really got to think about them. They really got to consider. It's like, are you with a white woman because you think she's better than a white woman? A white woman is better than a black woman? Or are you with her because you truly have something in common with her? Because you got the same interests in common. You got the same goals in life. And if so, then that's okay. That's good. Then that's a person that you can love and be with, and you're with them for the right reasons. But if you're not in the relationship for the right reasons, then you really need to check yourself.
And I would say majority are for the latter. It's not, because the numbers are too high as compared to other races.
Yeah, I agree. Right.
Numbers are too
I
high.
agree with that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
So caller 402, do you have any more thoughts? It's only like a minute and 32. Mm-hmm.
We were talking about traditions, and I think that, as we progress in the youth, they grow up, because we don't have any family traditions anymore, and the families are broken, and that's the way they designed everything for families to be broken up. I think that we're not going to probably ever get back to that place, because the young people have never seen it, so they're not going to ever be able to remember the family traditions that people of yesterday grew up with. So whereas other races, they teach their youth about that, we don't really do that, and the youth don't find that out. That's why a lot of the black men think the way they think, because they have no black men in their family to teach them. So when they go to the white race and the white women, and they let them do what they want, they think that that's better, even though it's not better. So it's just a lot of teaching and a lot of things that we have lost down through the years, and we'll probably never get them back, unfortunately. But we probably never will recover from that.
Right. It's a shame. And on that note, I'd like to thank both of you for calling in. And I think that this was something that the listeners can really get a lot from. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll talk to you both of you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.